So here's the $1 million question. Actually, forget that. The $500 million question. How does Patrick Mahomes win Super Bowls, break records, and still find time to outsmart Wall Street? I'm Mark, and today on Kickin Riches, I'm diving into how Mahomes is rewriting both football and financial playbooks. Think about this. Most guys dream of hoisting just one Lombardi trophy or cashing just one monster check. Mahomes is doing both, and doing it better than maybe anybody we've ever seen. But get this. Some of his slickest passes actually come off the field. He didn't just chase money, he chased legacy, and now money is chasing him. If you've ever wondered how a superstar athlete keeps winning after the final whistle blows, or how you might use those lessons in your own life, you're in the right spot. Let's take this from gridiron glory to boardroom brilliance. Ready to see what Mahomes' real secret weapon is? Let's break the huddle and start the story. If you want to talk about someone who is basically engineered for greatness, you got to start with Patrick Mahomes. This guy grew up in Texas with his dad pitching in the major leagues. Can you imagine the backyard games in that household? Patrick comes up slinging at White House High, drops jaws at Texas Tech, and in 2016. He goes and sets an NCAA record for single-game passing yards, 734. 734. My video game character doesn't even get numbers that wild. But Mahomes didn't stop at highlights. He gets drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs, 10th overall. And the dude sits, watches, and learns behind Alex Smith for a year like chess, not checkers. Then in 2018, boom, NFL MVP. Over 5,000 passing yards, 50 touchdowns. League leader, the works. He was just 23. By 2020, he's Super Bowl MVP, bringing the Chiefs their first title in 50 years. If you're counting, 3 Super Bowl wins, 3 Super Bowl MVPs, and another league MVP for good measure. The last QB who started this hot basically needed a DeLorean and a sports almanac. What I love, his skills are electric, yeah, but it's the work ethic, the study hours no one sees, the crazy creativity and play calling. Coaches like Andy Reid rave about how fast he learns, how hard he preps. Mahomes proves that raw talent is nothing without a brain. And that's the first clue to how he wins off the field, too. But with all that hardware piling up, you know what's coming next. Show me the money. How exactly does a superstar cash in at this level? Let's flip over to the contract madness. All right, strap in. Patrick Mahomes didn't just break the bank, he bought the whole bank. When he signed his 2020 deal with the Chiefs, it wasn't just a raise. It was a contract for the record books. 10 years, up to $503 million. That is, and I checked it twice, the richest contract in American sports history. The next closest NFL deal at the time wasn't even in the same galaxy. And you know what's even crazier? He locked it in while still on his rookie contract before his 25th birthday. The structure? Super smart. A long extension loaded with bonuses and guarantees, which means Mahomes gets rewarded no matter what. Plus, by stretching the deal out over 12 years, he and the Chiefs had room to play, literally. NFL teams work under a salary cap, basically like a budget limit. Helping KC manage that kept the squad stacked, which is why you see Mahomes restructuring his contract again and again, moving big chunks around as signing bonuses. For the 4th time! That's not just thinking about his own wallet, that's thinking like a leader. And if you're thinking, wasn't he tempted to ask for even more? Apparently, Mahomes said he values championships more than chasing every last dollar. Rings first, checks later. Personally, I've got mad respect for that. So, what would you choose? Maximum paycheck or a few more trophies for the cabinet? Let me know in the comments because this always sparks debate. But listen, salary is just the first quarter. Mahomes plays a much bigger game with his income. Let's talk about how he spends those millions outside the huddle. Now, as much as his right arm prints money on the field, Mahomes is out here stacking even more cash with those legendary commercials and partnerships. You've seen him. Nike, Oakley, State Farm. Who could forget those insurance ads? and even the cover of Madden NFL. By the way, did you know EA reportedly throws a cool $6 million to each cover star? Not a bad day at the office. But Mahomes is picky. He's got his own company, 2 PM Productions, running the show with his wife Brittany. That means when you see his name on workout gear, like the Athelher women's line, or on bottles of sports drinks, or in juice company ads, there's often an ownership stake in the mix, not just a quick promo check. He's done stuff no one else has, like inking the NFL's first helmet sponsorship deal. Hello, Coinbase logo on the helmet. Proving he's not afraid to pioneer new ways of getting paid. And it isn't all about flash. He actually uses a lot of these ads to pump his charities and connect with his fans, especially the next generation. If you were designing your personal brand, would you go for the biggest check or value and vision? Drop your thoughts below. I'm curious how you'd handle that kind of spotlight. Alright, so the endorsement game is strong, but how is Mahomes really setting himself up for the long run? Let's get into some business and investment magic. Here's the fun twist. Mahomes doesn't just make money, he makes his money work for him. Now, this is the playbook most pro athletes wish they'd followed. Instead of just grabbing cars or gold chains, Mahomes goes for something way smarter. Ownership. He's one of the youngest owners in Major League Baseball, buying a stake in the Kansas City Royals. But wait, he didn't stop there. He has ownership in Sporting KC, that's Major League Soccer, and the KC Current in women's soccer. Guy basically owns half the sports scene in Kansas City at this point. Why does this matter? Franchises grow in value, almost never lose, so his money isn't just spent, it's compounding. He's also building up business brands. Remember that Athelher line from earlier? Co-owned with Brittany. There's a wine venture, an energy drink, some tech assets. He works with top advisors focusing on diversified, low-risk investments too. Index funds, stocks, real estate, custom mansions both in MO and Texas. You get the sense every dollar is on a mission. What really hits home is how Mahomes once said he treats money like long-term fuel. Not a quick score, but something that sets up his family, wife, and his city for the decades ahead. That's a lesson here. Make your income work overtime, even after the season ends. Now, since Mahomes is so strategic with his money, you know he's also thinking about making an impact. Let's talk about what he's doing for the community. Okay, full confession. This is hands down my favorite part of Mahomes' story. Sure, the scoreboard matters and bank accounts are cool, but what about the scoreboard for changing lives? Mahomes started his own foundation, 15 and the Mahomies, that donates to everything from STEM programs for kids to health projects in Kansas City. He's given away game checks, set up charity football events, handed out grants, and even gets the whole family involved. Brittany's leadership program for young girls just shows they're about more than themselves. He's also big on talking up smart financial moves for young players, stressing the value of hiring good advisors and learning about saving and investing. I mean, if NFL stars can play chess with their fortunes, why not us too? What strikes me is how Mahomes really sees his money as a tool. He's about building a legacy, not just a lifestyle, giving back, lifting people up, and making sure his story helps the next generation. For anyone dreaming big, that is gold right there. We've covered every angle, what he earned, how he earned it, and where he's putting it. So what's the takeaway from the Mahomes playbook? Time for a quick huddle up. Here's the bottom line. Patrick Mahomes is redefining what it means to be a winner, and not just under the stadium lights. He's mastering the money game with the same vision and hustle that made him an NFL superstar. From championship rings to Kansas City business roots, the guy proves you can be bold and smart. A combo not just for quarterbacks, but for anyone who wants lasting success. So what's your play? Would you focus on salary, build your own brands, or invest for the long haul? Let me know down below, and don't forget to hit that like button if you learned something new. And remember, if you're loving these stories where football and finance collide, you gotta subscribe to Kickin Riches. we've got a locker room full of bankable, inspiring tales just like this. Thanks for tuning in, and here's to chasing greatness on and off the field. I'm Mark, and I'll catch you next time on Kickin Riches. Stay sharp out there.